Today we're going to make a kind of a wrap skirt with a little tie detail. So here we already have our avatar. We're going to select our rectangular tool and draw out a waistband. So this is the front pattern. And then we're going to select it. We click on the select tool and we're going to copy, right click again and paste. So right click, copy, right click, paste, always on the pattern. And here we're going to move the pattern to the front and we're going to move it behind the avatar. Here we see that it's on the wrong side, so we're going to right click on the pattern in the 3D window, and it's on the right side because the cloth thickness is not on. Okay, the textured surface is on. So we click and then we flip it horizontally, 3D. Okay, so we flip it horizontally, so we're on the right side. We're going to move it a little bit closer to the body because it's better that way. We're going to segment sew it. Segment sew the sides of the waistband and simulate. Take off simulation. So the default fabric, it's cotton, and that's what this fabric is. We select the add point to split line tool because this is going to help divide the lines, segment the lines, because then I'll show you how we can wrap, just put one piece of material on top of the other. So here we select our rectangular tool and we're going to draw out some panels, 2 panels. So this is the first panel. And then we can copy and paste this panel. So this is going to be attached to that part. It's slightly larger, so there could be little gathering at the waistband. With the select move tool selected, we're going to right click and we're going to copy and right click again and paste. Remember the shortcuts for this copy paste, it's Control C and Control V. But if you're not really comfortable at doing that yet, it's okay. It's just copy and paste. So we have 2 panels for the front. In the back, we can have just one large panel because the wrap it's gonna take place at the front. So we can copy and paste again one of these already rectangles that were drawn out. And what we can do, it's just enlarging it. You click on it and then you just would pull it, drag it out. Drag it out, you hover over that point and you drag it out. And so this is the way, one of the ways the select move tool can change the dimension of patterns. So there again, you place it to the back and you just right click and you flip it horizontally. Because with that already selected, I mean, to save yourself a lot of work. You already have the measurements there, so it's just a question of just, making it wider. So now we gonna just sew everything together with the segment sewing tool. And then we simulate. So we simulate, and here we have our skirt. Now we're going to separate the pieces because we have to manipulate the sewing relationships in order to create the wrap. And before we do that, we need to also delete the sewing relationship that's in the middle. So we go to Edit Sewing, we click on that, and there you right click in the middle, and we delete. We delete that sewing relationship. If we simulate, you see it's all the way open here. So we have to delete it in order to wrap it. Okay, so we'll see how we achieve this. So if you, with the edit sewing tool, it's still selected, but in the meanwhile, what we're going to do is we're going to choose the select move tool because we want to sort of widen these two panels so that it falls nicely. So we click on one, we can hold the shift and click on the other one. Depends on what we hold on shift, and both of them are selected. We're going to apply symmetry because there wasn't a symmetry before. So you apply symmetry in that way so that whatever you do on one, it can be done on the other one. And in this case, for me, it's really convenient because I'd like to make make them a bit wider and larger. I want to manipulate the pattern, you see? I want to like flare it out. So I work on one pattern piece, the other one's affected, and in the 3D window, you see this is happening. So it's really convenient to apply symmetry in this case. When you don't need a symmetry anymore, you just remove the symmetry when it's not needed. Here in the back, I'm just going to approximately, there again, apply a little bit of flare. Just pull these points out and simulate. And more or less, there is a little bit more flare. It's not too tight, the skirt. So what are we going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to add some color to this fabric so that you can better see when we create the wrap. You choose a color that's not too dark, but at the same time, not too bright. Maybe a gray. No. Oh, I think this looks good. So already you look at the pattern and you noticed in the front, like one is already like sort of a lapping over the other. So we're going to choose edit pattern because we want to really show this in detail. So when we edit the pattern, we're going to edit the pattern, fix it, modify it. And if you noticed the first panel, the sewing relationship is shown. The second one, the sewing relationship is shown. And what we want to do is we want to go to the waistband and we click on that point, that the seam edge 17. So we click on that point and we want to drag it up to that point that appeared, that was created. So we sort of shifted it. Okay, so we shifted it, and so you see, when you shift it, you see that one panel lays on top of the other. We want this panel here, this one, to lay on top of the other one. So what we can do is we will take off the simulation, and what we do is we just select. We select the piece and we just lift it. We lift it and we simulate again and it falls in place. So we want to create this illusion of a wrap, okay? That it's wrapped. And what we'll do is we'll do other detailing to make you understand that it's a wrapped type of skirt. These are really simple details for a beginner. So what we can do now is we can work with the waistband. The waistband, and we work there where the point where um, the panel touches the other one. We're going to work at really at that point. So we're going to draw an internal line. We're going to take the pen tool and draw an internal line right there. And with this internal line, you can manipulate this line. You could add elastic to it. You can do many things with this line. So we can select it so that it's highlighted and add some elastic. We're going to select it again because the elastic properties part didn't come up. Let's edit pattern again. Sometimes your glitches, you have to select. And let's find the elasticity. Okay, elasticity, you see, you turn this on, you click, turn it on. And there you have the strength and the ratio, and you manipulate this. And you just make just a little bit of detailing on this part of the belt. Like that's not good. Manipulate it. You go in, you make it like it's a little smaller. Okay. Like that. And then you simulate to show. Okay. So now that this, yeah, you can manipulate the, later on I'll show you that there are other properties that you can add to make the fabric more crinkly and just to give it more detail. But for now, let's keep things simple. And what we want to do is add a sort of a tie detail. So we're going to sew it on to that internal line that was created. To add the tie detail, now we're going to use our rectangular tool. So we draw this type of a tie. We added some fabric here, maybe to this. Let's just put another color so that we sort of separate it from the skirt to make it maybe a little darker. So we can add a point as you wish, add a points, uniform split, that means it's equal on both sides. Or you could simply just use the pen tool to create this internal line without even adding those points. It's sufficient. But these are different ways you can do things. We can sew one to the other and simulate and see how that lays. There's a little bit of gathering, and that gives it a little bit more detail because the internal line of the waistband, the line is wider than the other. And here we can edit the pattern of the tie by just making it longer. So we're going to select some lines and we're just going to make that longer. So the edit pattern, we can manipulate the points, can pull them out. And here you can really play along on whatever kind of tie you really would like to use, you can. Remember, you've already seen in the previous lessons, you know how to use the edit curve tool also. So you may concurve some lines and sort of just to create different looks and designs. Let's change the color a bit. Something slightly darker. And make that a bit longer and we simulate and then it looks like it's tied. So yes, more or less it's very simple. The important thing is to take note of the sewing relationships and the way you can move seams, okay, of different panels. Very important. So this is all for now and see you in the next video.